Hello, and welcome to the 6th unit of the SBIRT training for social work, a brief intervention called the Brief Negotiated Interview. I'm Mo Cuevas, and I'll be going through this process with you. So by the end of the session, you'll be able to describe an evidence-based practice model of brief intervention, the Brief Negotiated Interview. Apply specific motivational interviewing skills to the BNI, and practice SBIRT brief intervention skills using the BNI. Do you remember the primary goals of SBIRT? Let's review. There is a substance use continuum from abstinence, moderate use, at-risk use, abuse, and dependence. Substance use disorders take place here: the higher risk use, abuse, and dependence. Along the substance use continuum, with whom would you negotiate a reduction in use to lower risk levels? Select all that apply. It would probably be A and B, someone with moderate or at-risk use. Someone who abuses or is dependent probably needs specialized treatment. Along the substance use continuum, with whom would you negotiate a treatment referral for full assessment and a level of intervention to be determined? Select all that apply. As I just said, someone who abuses or is dependent needs a treatment referral. What is brief intervention? Brief intervention is a brief, motivational, and awareness-raising intervention given to risky or problematic substance users. So you're performing the intervention to try and lower their level of risk. The brief negotiated interview has several models, including the BNI. It's a semi-structured interview based on motivational interviewing that is a proven evidence-based practice, meaning research has been done and shows that it's effective, and it can be completed in 5 to 15 minutes. The steps in the BMI sound a whole lot like motivational interviewing. You build rapport, raise the subject, explore the pros and cons of use. You provide feedback, build readiness to change, and negotiate a plan for change. Very similar to what we've already talked about. Building rapport and raising the subject. You begin with a general conversation and ask permission to talk about alcohol or drugs or their assessment. You build rapport again. What do you think you do if the client does not want to talk about his or her use? If they say no, say, okay, at this time you don't want to have this discussion. Discuss the pros and cons of use. Help me understand through your eyes. What are the good things about your use? What are some of the not so good things about using? You're playing out the pros and cons, like the decisional balance. Applying motivational interviewing. You use open-ended questions that encourage engagement and open the door for exploration, and you use reflective listening reflectively, and thinking reflectively. All of this enables the client to convey more information, to know that you're there for them, and to participate in the conversation more fully. Summarizing reinforces what has been said and shows careful listening. Summarizing using a decision balance. So here are the reasons I hear from you that you enjoy using, and here are the other reasons that I hear from you that you might consider cutting down on your use. The second step is providing feedback. Ask permission to give information, discuss the screening findings, and link the substance use behaviors to any known consequences so that you're basically engaging the client again in a discussion about the screening findings and linking those findings and the behaviors to the consequences the client has already had in their life. While providing feedback, you also evoke a response from the client. A positive reaction means you can move forward. A negative reaction, you probably want to go back and revisit the pros and cons so that you can use those to try and move forward. Building the readiness for change. Could we talk for a few minutes about your interest in making a change? On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being not ready at all, and 10 being completely ready, how ready are you to make any changes in your substance use? We looked at this in the last unit as well. And negotiating a plan for change, a plan for reducing use to low risk levels, or an agreement to follow up with specialty treatment services, depending on what level your client is at and their willingness or readiness to change. You're going to videotape a BNI practice session using a volunteer as the client and you as the social worker. You'll use the vignettes that are in this unit or in a previous unit, and you'll get to practice these different skills using motivational interviewing to practice a brief negotiated interview. And based on your performance in those scenarios, you'll get to look at what skills you think you perform well and which of your skills might need more practice so you can more effectively help your clients.